The following presentation is rated TVMA.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Sluts for Smut, where we talk about book 2 in the Vicious Lost Boys series, The Dark One by Niki St. Crowe. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome.
Hello.
I'm Kitty.
Emerald.
And Nixie.
And we're here to talk shit about this book. No, not really. Lots of good things.
Lots of bad things.
Lots of bad things.
There might be some shit talking.
Might be some shit talking.
There's going to be shit talking.
Yeah, might be.
So.
The book.
The book.
The book.
Where do we want to start this week?
Part 2. Pan has his shadow. Well, he has found his shadow. He does not have his shadow. He has found it. We have located it. We're going to run around one of the 7 islands looking for this shadow. We're not going to find it. Mm-mm. Or are we? Ladies? Yes? No?
No.
We might.
Eventually, maybe.
And as with book number 1, there is a lot of sex. Because what kind of sluts for smut would we be if there was not
any sex at all? None.
Notorious sluts. Yes, right? And then, of course, the obligatory Kitty, please. Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry, man.
Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry.
Mm.
We find out new characters are coming.
We do.
We do. We find out new characters are coming.
We realize how big of bitches some of them are.
Right.
More so than the first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so let's get into it. The characters.
Well, I mean, we have all the same people.
And then some.
And then some.
Because now we have the bitch. I mean, Hook. I'm sorry.
We get more involved with Smee, with Hook. Hook and Smee are kind of a package deal.
Samir. Yes, Samir. And the pirates. They don't have any other name but the pirates because, they're whatever.
Why do they need any other names other than the pirates?
It's right?
Unwashed masses.
Yep, the Lost Boys. Now we have the pirates, basic.
Right.
And then we find out that the crocodile is coming.
Who we also find out is Vane's brother.
Vane's brother.
What?
And in this one, Vane is just as much of an ass, but we see Nixie's softer side.
Yeah, we do. You learn a lot about Vane in this book.
You do. Yeah, you really do. You learn a lot about Vane in this book.
you
Like, he
He really,
Right.
the character really gets built on in this.
why he has the dark shadow that he has,
Mm-hmm.
and that he is losing control of it.
Did he ever really have control of it though?
Probably not.
It doesn't seem that way. It doesn't
I don't
seem
really
like
think
he
he
ever
did.
actually had control or didn't learn how to control it. He might though.
Jump.
Chomp chomp. What?
And freaking Cherry, she be a hoe. That she is.
That
She
she
do be a
is.
hoe.
She is a hoe.
I mean, they're all hoes. If we're gonna be.
So Peter Pan decides he's going to send Cherry back to Hook, which we also find out is her brother. And he is going to call in the crocodile, which is Vane's brother. But then we find out that Cherry never wanted to go home. Why? Because she a hoe. She a whole kind of hoe.
She wanted the Dark One's dick.
She wanted the Dark One's dick. She did. She wanted to ride that thing. I mean, she
She
just
had all of them but him, and that was her last conquest, I guess.
Right? But even when she got him, she still wanted more from him. And he just did not want her at all.
She wanted him to love her. That ain't gonna happen.
Right.
That never going to happen. We also find out in this book that Winnie's mother, don't ask me her name because it is beyond my comprehension today, was pregnant.
Mary.
Winnie.
Wasn't it Mary?
Mary,
yes. Mary was pregnant with Winnie when she was kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what kind of crazy ass shit did that do to her brain? The baby, not the woman. I mean, she went swimming in a pool of death.
And well, apparently she thought it was going to heal her because Pan put her there.
Yeah.
Yes, let's go swimming
like,
in a
"Here, go
pool of
relax."
death and hope it heals me. I don't think that woman was ever right in the head.
I don't know. I mean, she came out rocking a really cool shell.
She did, but it wasn't for her.
Mm-mm.
No.
And she came out rocking some really psycho thoughts, which is why she tattooed or engraved or whatever the hell she did to Winnie's back.
Right.
Like,
you just kind of get to see how the psychosis really formed with the mother.
Yeah.
She's crazy.
Right.
Bitch be cray cray.
Right.
Butter jelly sandwiches.
All right. We have done our characters.
Before we get too far into this, the beginning of this book, like the first, we'll say 4 chapters. Let's break it down into sections, chunks.
Little chunks? Big chunks.
So, chapter 1, Pan's chasing Shadow. Okay, cool. Opens the box, 2 shadows jump out. That's where the book opens. He's like, fuck! He knows which one to chase, so him and Vane go after the light one, and the twins go after the dark one, and they're all on a merry chase around the treehouse for this shadow. And then Bash falls out of the fucking tree.
Yeah, because he cornered the dark shadow in the fucking tree, and it lunged at him.
Okay, but can we talk about how he got up in the tree first?
Go ahead.
Rock, paper, scissors,
oh yeah,
shoot. They literally paid rock, paper, scissors, shoot to figure out which one's going up in the tree.
That's valid. They did.
Yeah, see, that would not happen, ladies. I'm sorry. If there is something that is required up in a tree, we can play rock, paper, scissors, shoot all we want. It doesn't matter how many times I win. One of you two is going up there.
I have 12 skinny, more limber motherfuckers to do that shit for me.
Exactly. No. It's not fucking happening. I'm not going up in that tree. Have at it. Enjoy the fun. I'm good.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. But this is how he gets up in the tree, because they play rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and Bash won. What about Spock? Yeah, Spock wasn't in this one, unfortunately.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. They don't know that one. Okay, carry on, because now he is up in the tree and he falls out of the tree.
Yeah, and he's
Well,
hurt.
he falls out of the tree because, like Kitty said, he corners the shadow. Now, I didn't catch it the first time I read through it. When I read through it the second time, I didn't realize that the shadow actually slit his throat.
Oh, yeah.
So he fell out of the tree because the shadow slit his throat. And he hits the ground and he's bleeding out. And Cass is like, oh my God, get a towel.
Yeah. And
his
then
twin is dying in front of him. What else is he supposed to do?
but
Freak
then
out?
Good old Winnie is smart. And she's
Shades.
like, remember what you told me about fairies?
Right?
You know, you don't believe in it, you know, it kills them. So what happens if you do the opposite and you say, I believe in fairies?
Say it again.
I believe in fairies. It just reminds me of the like remake of Peter Pan.
Literary little defibrillator.
So we're all going to be running around. I believe in fairies, and just hoping, hoping that fairies pop up from somewhere, right?
And then he rolls over and sucks in a deep breath, and he's okay. And he says that he thought he was talking to his brother, and his brother's like, I thought you were going to die. And he says, I thought I was too. But come on, brother. Dying would be an awfully big adventure.
Right.
Isn't that in like all of the fucking Peter Pans? Like,
Mm-hmm.
way to incorporate that. Go ahead, Niki St. Crowe. I approve this message.
It would be an awfully, and what does his brother say? You're an ass.
Yeah.
You're an ass.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, asshole.
I mean, but neither one of us would be stupid enough to be up in the tree so that we could get our throats sliced by a shadow demon anyway. So whatever.
So
We'll let somebody else chase the shadows.
After that happens, Pan and Vane come back, and Pan had lost his shadow, so Pan's pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's a dick anyway. He's always mad.
I mean, true, he's a very broody man. But he starts breaking all the liquor bottles and shit. I would have been like, whoa.
But this is also when we find out that Winnie has some balls.
Mm-hmm.
She got a little Charlie challenge going on here. Like, we ain't gonna play this game, boys. Because he goes and he hears the Lost Boys and the hookers, the town girls coming in, and he's like, hey, yo, come here. And she comes out, and the twins are like, oh, this is gonna be bad. And Vane,
He's got a girl sitting on his lap.
I know.
Vane called it.
I hadn't gotten that far yet. The girls, the twins are like, this is going to be bad. And one of the girls comes over and sits down on Peter Pan's lap. And Vane is the voice of reason?
Really?
It's like she's going to be pissed if she comes out here and sees you with that bitch in your lap.
When did Vane become the voice of reason? And what happens? She comes out there and sees her on his lap.
Mm-hmm.
She lost her fucking mind.
Mm-hmm.
She did. She lost her fucking mind.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells her after, she loses her mind. Where is it? Oh.
I'm a king. I do what I want.
No. We are 4 very hungry men. Do you really think you're capable of keeping up with our appetites?
She's like, yep.
Yep. She's like, yeah, I sure am. Yep. Because the darling knows what she wants. Because she a hoe.
Now, did that comment come before or after he potato sacked her over his shoulder and carried her out of the room?
That was after, because she saw that girl sitting on his lap, and so she took off running out the house and went and found her a little
Found her little boy toy.
lost boy.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, he's not allowed to touch you. And you're like, yeah. She says, yeah. But you never said I couldn't touch them. And since they can touch you, I can touch them. So that's how that cookie crumbles. Like, she straight is just all about challenging him. And he's like, go to your room. And she's like, no. And he says, no. And throws her over his shoulder and takes her up the stairs. And she's looking at the twins like, help me. And they're like, you did that to yourself.
No.
Yeah. No, that's your own fault.
Yeah. You did that. That's you. Yep.
And that's when this whole thing. That's when she's like, I don't want to share none of y'all.
I don't want to share none of y'all.
And they're like,
I'm a selfish hoe. I want all 4 of you. You're mine.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 of them went, okay. But Vane is still like,
mm-mm. He's like, I don't want it.
I don't want it. It ain't happening. At least not for,
Oh, but she tries.
She tries.
Yeah. That is when we are 4
tries.
hungry men. Do you really think you're capable of keeping up with our appetites?
Yep. And then he says, you want us, darling? You have us, but you follow my rules. As if that's ever happened.
And he's like, show me. You can handle all 4 of us.
Yeah. And then what does she do? She sleeps with the twins, and then she crawls her little happy tuchus across the floor to the king of Neverland and proceeds to make him promise her that he will never touch another girl.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of promise there. Promiscuity, that is.
But he's in charge, right?
Oh, totally. Don't you know how that works? Totally in charge. She's following his rules as he laid them down. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
So she does the twins, she does the king.
She goes for the Vane.
And then she goes for Vane.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a mistake, apparently, because Vane does not know how to control his shadow.
He warned her.
She ends up, and he did. He's warned her, and more than once too. Throughout book 1, he tells her a couple times, and Pan even told her once or twice in the first book, "Don't do that. It's a bad idea." But no, she decides she's gonna be a dumb shit, and she goes and she tries to get Vane, and ends up against the wall by her throat. And not in the kinky, sexy kind of way. We're not talking about the nice choking. We're talking about the cutting off circulation and airflow, almost dying kind of choking.
Don't forget his shadow and the terror and the just oozing of fear and just on top of all of the lack of the oxygen going on.
Right. And it's important to note here that as she's walking across the floor to go try to seduce Vane, she ends up stepping on a piece of glass because apparently she wasn't watching where the fuck she was going. And she cuts the bottom of her foot open.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dark one is squeamish of blood on her, apparently.
Apparently, it's just hers, it seems.
Yeah.
Everybody else got her by his throat. Or he's got her by her throat and up against the wall, and he's trying to kill her, and Pan's trying to get him off of her, and the twins are just standing there like, what the fuck do we do? And then he realizes that she's bleeding.
No, I think he realizes it when he tries to kill Pan.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, because he had Pan's throat, and the shadow was eating him, and it was just like, and then he sees her bleeding. Yeah.
You're right.
Yep. It was weird. This whole book was just very crazy dark psycho. Ooh, let's have sex. Crazy dark psycho. Ooh, let's have sex.
It's true.
Just crazy. Not dark psycho, just crazy. Ooh, let's have sex. I mean, throughout the whole book, that's the theme. Because you've got the almost dying and Pan losing his mind, and then all of this and the craziness, and what happens? They have sex. And then in the next chapter that we're going to be talking about, it's like crazy, dark, psycho. What ends up happening? They end up having sex. And then after that, it's just crazy. And you know what's going to happen. they end up having sex. Like, it's just that theme. No, you don't think so? You don't think so?
I was being sarcastic. Of course, like, no, they're not gonna have
in this book. No, really.
No.
What
Never.
kind of a sluts for smut book would we, like, club would we be if we didn't have slut, like smut? Hey, Miss Tracy. You're just in time for the sex of book 2. Or at least some of it, anyway.
So Pan gets Vane off of Winnie. They start going back and forth. Winnie's kind of freaking out at this point because she doesn't understand what's happening, because Vane is like trying to kill Pan with the dark shadow. And the twins are like, we don't know what the hell to do. The only person that can take out Vane is Pan.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them's going to die if we don't stop this. So at that point, she then gets back into the spin of things and gets Vane's attention again. And this is when he's coming after her for the second time.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's like full dark shadow mode. And then he realizes that his foot is cut open. The shadow goes away. And he turns and walks the fuck out of the room.
Now, if that happened for anybody else, I'd be like, ooh. Like, for Vane? Right? Like, Vane, it's like, you're this big, bad, scary death shadow, and you see a little bit of blood, and you're going to get queasy and walk away.
Everybody's got a weakness.
Yeah, and apparently his is Winnie's. I don't know.
Right?
But Pan goes to patch her up, and the twins do their magic, which we will be discussing this magic here in a few minutes. Let me tell you, that's the next chapter. But we be discussing this magic.
Mm-hmm.
They do their magic and knock her out with fantasy and world and all this fairy. It's great, and she has no idea what's going on. And life carries on. Everything's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then she wakes up in a hammock by the ocean while Pan is trying to chase Vane down and figure out what the hell is wrong with him.
Yeah.
He fucking crazy. He got a death shadow he cannot control. That is what's wrong with him. He fucking crazy.
Right.
He fucking crazy. But she ends up going to bed with Pan that night.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the bath and having the and the why even give her a choice of where she wants him to shoot his shot if he's just going to shoot his shot where he wants to? What is the point of this, ladies? Kitty, you laugh. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, they're in the bathroom and they're like going at it, and he says, "Where do you want it?" And she's like, "Oh, you're gonna let me choose?" And he goes, "Of course." And she was like, "Inside." And he goes, "Wrong choice."
And did it like if he was gonna do that anyway? Like, do you think do you think he would have picked the opposite of what she said? Period. Like either way, like whatever she would have said. He'd been like,
I mean, that's what I was thinking too. Like, why give her the choice because he wasn't going to do it anyway? Like, he's nasty. But the next scene, after another little altercation with Vane, where they're tasseling because Peter Pan gives her advice, because it's always great to get Peter Pan's advice about you're trying too hard with him. Just don't try. So they have an altercation, and then she goes upstairs to the twins, who had just had a fight with their twin sister, where you find that she knew all along that her dad was going to marry her to Hook, and the twins were not going to be the kings of the fairies, and they're kind of all fucked up in the head, and she messes with them, but realizes they're not paying attention. So she's like, okay. And she starts to walk away, and they're like, we're going to let her do that. Nah. And they go after her. Now let's talk about this magic.
Let's talk about it.
let's talk about this magic, okay? Now, I am all about multiple orgasms. Like, yes, please. Okay. I mean, just yes. But anybody comes near this with any kind of weird plant, be fake, be real, with my luck, it's gonna be poison ivy, and I'm gonna not be happy camper. Like, we ain't doing this shit. Keep your leaves to yourself. We're not gonna be Allison Anatomy up in here. I'm sure she liked it.
She did.
Clearly, she liked it.
She did
multiple times. But I mean, just no.
They did do a really good job describing it, though.
They did. It was a really good job describing it. And
Tracy, you're killing me.
Well, I mean, like, with my luck, it would be poison ivy, and I would totally end up like Allison. Yeah, Allison from Grey's Anatomy. Like, I would totally end up being out. Like, it's poison ivy. Are you happy now? Like, that would be me. But no, they did a really good job describing it. She did, like, and the gentleness and the way they curved around her, and it's really. It was funny to me because I'm sitting here reading it and she's giving such a good description of these leaves and how they curve around the body and how they're this and they're that. And then all of a sudden it's like they're flicking my pussy. It's like, okay, you go from being descriptive to just flat. But all right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still stuck on not having leaves touch me, but all right. All right. But I did like, I don't remember which twin said it, but I did like how they said that making her come multiple times was a gift he never knew he needed.
That was Cass.
Was that Cass?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. 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 With a slip of the tongue, you're in deep shit. Yep. Exactly.
Can we just pause real quick and talk about what she chose as her safe word?
What was it?
Do you guys remember what her safe word was?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Crackle.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember because she never uses it.
No, she doesn't use it.
No.
But I mean, crackle.
I mean, okay.
Would you remember that?
No, hell no.
Like, honest to God, like that word. Would you remember that?
No.
No, there's no way in hell I would ever remember
I wouldn't.
crackle. I can't even remember it when it actually happens. Like, what is it? It did that sound. It did the sound. You know, the sound. I don't. Could you imagine sitting there, like, in that moment, being like,
that one right
sound, that sound. That's the safe word. That sound.
The one Rice Krispie guy. What's his name?
Right.
I can't remember his name. I remember Snap and Pop. What's the other one?
Can't ever remember that damn brother's name. It's an elf. Come on, everybody knows it. Your knees do it when you wake up. You go up down the stairs. Come on.
Okay, ladies. On that note, we have to take a short break.
All right.
We will be right back.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Scream gets me every time.
Daffy is like perfect 4-hour show because it is sinfully delicious.
It works. It works.
And it will keep you up all night. And if you haven't read this book, y'all, you'll want to stay up all night. And if you have read this book, stay up to read the next one. Because that's what we're all going to do. Okay, so now we are multiple orgasming with the twins.
Yeah.
And Vane gets mad because they were too rough with her. This man who had her up against a wall and was choking her out is mad because they were too rough.
We cannot just glance over the double twin sex scene, guys. We can't not talk about that. Okay. We can't.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, yeah.
Is that even physiologically possible? I think this is one of those moments where we talked about it last week in our show, where some of these things are like, is that even possible? Is it even physically possible to do something like that?
It's Neverland. Anything is possible in Neverland.
Right, there you go. I mean, come on. And they have leaves flicking her bean. Like, come on. They bring her nipple. I mean, anything is possible in Neverland at this point. But I'm telling you, some of the positions, yeah, thank God she is 18 and probably limber as the things they've got wrapping around her, because like some of the positions that they say they have her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't have to say the safety word. My body would be doing it for me. My body would be cracking. And they'd be like, did you just say the word? No, that was just my knees. Don't worry about it. Like, oh.
All right. So
but
she
apparently,
takes both twins at the same time, hanging from vines in a tree.
I mean, apparently it's possible.
I mean, it's maybe.
Neverland is magical.
They're strong. She's small. I guess it could work.
Maybe. I don't know.
So she's hanging from the tree. They get done with her. Pan and Vane walk in. Pan looks at her hanging from the vines in the trees and goes, or no, it wasn't Pan, it was Vane that said it. Word of advice, darling. Never let the boys tie you up.
She says, I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, and then I think it's Pan says that he nearly killed her last night, so you can shut your fucking mouth. And
because Vane was talking about they were too rough with her. Like, you were too rough with her.
Yeah.
Like, you guys could have broke. And they're like, you nearly fucking killed her last night. You can
he
just
said, oh, where'd it go? I just lost it. Oh my God, I lost it. Damn it.
Find it.
I fucking lost it. Where was you? This is what happens when I fat finger something.
So
Mistakes were made.
Can we talk about this magical cream?
The what?
Well, hold on, because there's one part here that I want to talk about, because it ranks right up there with one of my favorite lines in the book. So in this one, Pan gets her down. They go get the salve. they start putting this like elf, this like fairy salve on her bruises and cuts and stuff like that. She tells him that she doesn't want to put it on, I think it was on her neck.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was proud of those, of the handprint on her throat.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get to kind of going back and forth. And she says, "You're all assholes, but you're my assholes. Even you, Vane."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's got it bad for Vane. Like she always had it. Like from book one
He
into
won't give in to her.
Vane.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and that's probably what it is, you know, she wants what she can't have. And, you know, it's always Vane.
Oh, I have the whole quote.
All right.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
After the whole "your asshole" thing, she says, "I chose those things. I choose all of you, even you, Vane. So stop treating me like a fragile toy. I'm not. I'm a china cup that has been broken so many times that I'm never sure if I'm a cup or just separate pieces held together by glue and sheer determination, molded into a cup-like shape. I know how to crack and I know how to mend. At least with you all, I know I will never mend alone."
I love that quote.
Oh.
Yep. Yep.
And that.
So it's also in this chapter where Cass tells Pan about their trip over to see Tilly.
Mm-hmm.
Tells Pan Tilly's Pan, confirms that the crocodile is Vane's brother.
Yep.
And that she is calling him back, which kind of spoils Pan's plan, because Pan had planned to try and use Crocodile as leverage until he got to him first.
But is there a possibility of saving that, though? Because, I mean, Pan has his brother.
Maybe.
I guess we'll find out.
Right.
That's also when they start discussing how they are going to go to. They lost Pan's shadow on Hook's side of the island.
Mm-hmm.
So now they are creating a plan because fucking Vane suckered Cherry into talking to a dear old bro to give them permission to go to their side of the island.
Suckered. Yeah, that's a good word. That's a good way to put it. You know, fucking Cherry, this is what you're going to do. And while we're on the way there, just shut up. Yep, exactly. Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry.
Oh, man. It's great.
And what does she do? Yep. All the way there.
Vane's like,
I think my favorite part of that whole scene was like when he told her just shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up, right? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, just stop.
We are not going to talk at all on this trip. Not a word.
Not at all. Just.
And then, you know, after they talk about Croc being Vane's brother, when he's like, okay, wait, Hook and Pan share an enemy and it's Vane's brother? And he's a crocodile? And Pan's like, he's not my enemy, not exactly. And second of all, he's a man.
Yep.
And then
Which kind of threw me.
When he finds out that her great-great-grandmother is still stuck in Neverland somewhere. Alive.
Right?
Yeah.
Wendy is still alive. Which is kind of confusing to me because in book one, didn't she see Tink killing her?
No, I think that was her mother's mother.
Mm-hmm.
This would have been her mother's mother's mother. It was the great-grandmother that she saw the vision of in book one. This is the great-great-grandmother, the original Wendy darling.
Yeah, so Wendy's daughter is the one that Tink stabbed? I'm so confused, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah, because then there was Mary.
One of Wendy's daughters.
Okay.
No. I think I don't think that's right, because isn't Wendy's mother the little sister of the one who died?
Is she? I don't remember.
I don't either.
I don't remember. Like, I don't remember in book one who Winnie saw Tink stab. I just know she saw somebody stabbed And then there was a kid there. Now, they don't say, I don't think in the first book that like Winnie doesn't ever say that was a sister. She just says there was a little girl.
Who was the little girl? Was it?
Yeah.
No, I'm almost positive in some point in the book they do say that it was the one who died's sister.
Okay. Which is still
But
more
I
confusing.
believe the sister is Mary, who is Wendy's mom. Winnie's mom, not Wendy's mom. Winnie, Wendy,
I'm
Winifred, whatever they want to call them. All those W's.
Yeah, way
Okay.
too many W's. But it was
Wendy was her great-great-grandmother.
Wendy was the
Okay.
great-great-grandmother.
Yeah, because
Who did Tink stab?
her great-grandmother?
I'll have that answer next week.
We will research and come back.
We will research and come back. Yes.
So then she gets pissed off that she finds out the great-great-grandmother is still somewhere on Neverland, never got returned home. You know, Pan's kind of like, I've always returned them. I've always sent them back, except for this one that I kept because she was really good leverage.
Mm-hmm.
Asshole.
Yeah.
She's like, promise to get her back. And they're like, we don't have
to. Croc will do it for us. Oh, yeah, that's great.
You do really start to see Winnie kind of coming into her own with the boys in this next couple of chapters, though.
Yeah,
Like,
she really does.
Better in the next couple of chapters.
She really does. She like stands up for herself. She starts like this is what I want. This is where I want to be. This is how I want it. This is, like she starts to really kind of mature into her desires and into her like place in the Lost Boy harem.
Yep. Chapter 22 is all about the fact that Cherry was eavesdropping, felt bad, and started whining.
Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry. She goes back to her room, figures out that the dark shadow's in there.
Yeah.
Runs to find Vane.
She goes to find Vane.
Mm-hmm. She goes to find Vane. Meanwhile, Wendy and the Lost Boys are down partying at the beach at a bonfire. And they're all shooting rocks off into the ocean and getting drunk, and she's just kind of like, I'm gonna go over here.
So they're not actually shooting rocks.
They're shooting Lost Boys.
They're shooting Lost Boys
into the fucking air.
Into the fucking air. Into the ocean. Yeah. Did you see him? And he cartwheeled head over heels.
And then that one, he's like, that was awesome. And now Pan's like, now get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Thanks. It was fun. Yeah, go away.
Like, okay.
Rocks, Lost Boys.
Are you trying to indicate that the Lost Boys are dumb as a box of rocks?
Could be.
Some of them, yeah. Some of them, yeah.
Good point.
Starting with the one who got his heart ripped out in book 1.
All right. So now, Winnie has gone off on her own, and she has discovered Vane floating in the lagoon by himself.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, though. Hold on. We cannot just go past my absolute favorite line. And unfortunately, for shame, it's from fucking Cherry.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, guys.
Go ahead.
When she sees the shadow in her room and her scratch and everything, she says, holy berries and balls.
Oh, man.
Yes.
She does. And
that is, to me, one of the best lines in the book.
It was absolutely one of the best lines in the book. But before we get into the Vane and Winnie scene, I do believe it is time for our next commercial break.
It
Yes.
is. All right. Hold, please.
I will be watching that
Looks
in
like
the
a
next
good
couple
time.
of days so that I
Yes.
can talk with y'all and you and Jags
I was
and
gonna say,
Shmew.
join us Thursday, Thanksgiving night, for our take on Blood Rage. It's gonna be fun. They always are.
Looking forward to
They are.
watching them. And the sports, Chronic Sports is tomorrow.
Yes, Chronic
Yep.
Sports is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're talking college. Yes, I'm excited.
All right. Holy berries and balls, guys. She comes up on Vane.
Yeah, boy.
Hmm.
Mm.
And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
As she
After-
moseys into the dead pool.
After she has weaseled her way into the water.
Didn't weasel her way into shit. He told her to come in.
I know.
She moseyed her way. She didn't weasel. She moseyed her way into that water.
Yes, she did. And he's like, "Why are you here?" And she's like, "I don't know. I was drawn here, I think." Yeah, huh?
Aww.
With your ovaries.
May not have been him. Her mama did swim in that pool when she was pregnant with her. It could have been the draw of the water. We don't know.
Could have been.
It was most likely his dick, but that's beside the point.
I'm thinking it was the dick.
It was the dick. Yeah, we all know it was the dick. It was the dick, yeah.
And she was like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "To get away from you." And she's like, "Why? What did I ever do to you?"
Why do you hate me so much? And he says, I don't understand you.
I don't like things I don't understand. And she's like, "I'm not a thing, I'm a person." A naughty, darling girl.
Yep, that's right.
So we get a little bit of Vane's backstory in this particular section.
Mhm.
We find out that he comes from the Darkland. We find out that at some point he had a family that included a younger sister. Well, a sister. We don't know if she was younger or older. But the sister apparently died a very violent death. And this is the reason why Vane took up the shadow.
Yep.
He took on the dark shadow to get revenge for the murder of his sister and hasn't figured out how to give it back yet. He says to her that she makes him feel reckless and dangerous. Then
so he
proceeds
wasn't
to
already
tease the
feeling
shit out of
reckless
her.
and
Huh?
He wasn't already feeling reckless and dangerous?
Yeah, apparently
He
not.
has a crazy death shadow.
I have this whole scene highlighted.
You have a what?
The whole scene highlighted.
Ah,
He's like dangerous and reckless, and she's like, "I already told you once." He's like, "Yeah, I know, darling. You're stronger than you look."
aren't we all?
Not
Okay,
afraid
carry
of
on.
you.
And then she's
Then
like, "I don't
Go
need
ahead.
you to protect me." He's like, "I don't want to protect you. I want to fuck you until you tremble beneath me."
right?
Yeah. And she's like, "So why don't you?"
Because she's spicy like that, right? So why don't you?
Right.
Because he doesn't want to hurt her. Because he doesn't trust himself because of the shadow.
Right.
Yay.
And she's
And
like,
yet-
"All right." He's like, "No, you don't."
And then something slithers across her toe, and she goes, eek, into his arms.
Mm-hmm. And that's when that
Yep.
whole conversation takes place.
And right onto his dick.
Right onto his dick. But,
She's like, "Just fuck me already."
yep. And then something happens, and he ends up pushing her away. And he tells her, just walk away. Just slowly walk away. And this is when she kind of comes into her
She gets
into her own again, right? Like,
bulb.
yeah, like, okay, hold on here. And he looks at her, and he sees that little twinkle in her eye, and he's like, don't
Don't you
do it.
fucking do it.
Don't you fucking do it. Don't you fucking do it. And she looks at him and he goes, Winnie. And she's like, oh.
She gone. She takes off
My
running.
race is on, and here
Favorite
goes
scene.
Winnie in the back street. And they're just a mess, right?
Who doesn't love a good chase scene? Like, come on.
Exactly.
Who doesn't love a good chase scene
Very true.
that ends in a little bit of rough sex?
A little bit of, okay, yeah, we'll call it that. He is described as bigger than all of the other guys. We already know that he is vicious because of the shadow. A little bit of rough sex. Okay.
No.
Yep.
He slams her against a tree. Could you imagine that rough bark? We're going back to the leaves and things in places they do not belong, okay? It's almost like having sex on a beach. Sand does not belong there. Bark does not belong in certain spots. But I digress. He slams her against a tree.
Hmm.
And then I think it says he pounds into her or slams into her. I don't know. But it is rough sex. And she's got the fear, spirit thing, the dark thing, shadow coming at her, and the terror, and all of this stuff. And all she can sit there and think about, and I don't know about y'all, but in that point in my life, I'm not thinking at all. But all she can think about is how to
make him calm down.
Turn it around. And it's pain.
Fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is she not already in enough pain?
Guess not.
Apparently not.
So she's a sadistic hoe. Okay.
Or she knows the sight of blood will calm him down because that's what she thought about.
Right. We're going to
She
that.
thought about the fact that when she cut her foot, he simmered down.
Mm-hmm.
So she grabs the stick, she breaks it off, she slices her hand open, she sticks it up against her chest so he sees the blood. And when he sees the blood, she sees the eyes go back to normal. They go from being straight back to being the black and the violet. But then she looks at him and she goes, don't stop.
Nope. She's like, nope. I made it this far.
Right?
You ain't walking away from me now.
So they do. They go ahead. They get the rocks off. They're finishing everything up. And there's one, they're walking away. Like they're walking back over to where the rest of the Lost Boys are. And I don't exactly remember how the whole quote goes, but I know they're talking about the fact that they're talking about Vane choking her. And he looks at her and he goes, you want me to choke you? And I thought it was funny. She was like,
I got it.
There's something that she says.
She says, I like you being rough with me. He's like, stop it. She's like, I'm allowed to like it. He grumbles, not at the expense of the oxygen in your lungs. Speak for yourself. I wouldn't mind experimenting with that under controlled circumstances. You want me to choke you? He scowls over at me. I think about it a second. Yes. Fucking hell, darling. He puts his hand at the small bag and gives me another push as he's aghast at the idea.
So before the chase scene, when she has that light bulb, she has that epiphany.
Mm-hmm.
That epiphany was just kind of very poignant for me. And I did actually notate this one down. She says that Peter Pan was wrong and that she was wrong too. She says, it's not that I have to try harder or try less. It's that I have to be exactly who I am. Every ugly, broken part. I have to be vulnerable, and maybe that terrifies me most of all. Show him all of my cracks and let him make his own on my skin. I have endured.
Yep.
And I just thought about that, and I just was like, even though this is a book about the sex and the weirdness and the craziness and the violence and all of that, all of these things that this girl has gone through in her life, from her crazy mother to being kidnapped to, you know, just the decisions that she's made, all of that. And she finally realizes that to get the person that she wants, she just
Has to be herself.
Right.
That's just like, oh.
Yeah.
A very poignant point in the whole book. Like, I just have to be me.
Right.
I can be broken and still be beautiful. And I just thought that was absolutely amazing. And then she takes off running, and then they have sex, and then he pushes her back, and she has a realization that she just made the biggest mistake because he has a clear view of her back and now knows how crazy mother did. Yep. I realized too late the mistakes that I have made.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they talk about how he realizes they never should have sent Mary back.
Yep.
She was off her rocker.
There's a great line in that particular scene there, though. So what, you wanted her to stay here so you could help raise me?
That's not weird at all.
That's not right.
Yeah. He's like, we should have never sent Mary back. We should have never let her raise you alone. And I scoff, what, and keep her here so you all could help raise me? That sounds creepy and worse.
Right? And then she says to him, I firmly believe that everything happens for a reason, and I was where I was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I'm where I'm supposed to be now. But finally gives her that
right
glow, that confidence, that she starts bragging. Where have you two been?
Oh, well, wait, because we missed a really, really key part here.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
Chapter 26. The only thing in chapter 26 is Cherry was fucking watching her and Dane.
Cherry.
Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry.
Cherry sees her get laid. Cherry gets jelly. Cherry gets sad. Oh, poor Cherry.
And she has this one thought.
Fucking pick me. I've got this shadow in my room.
Yeah. And if
what if I leave her there?
Oh, but I could never do that. I could.
We're probably
it's like she's fucking bipolar. Oh, I couldn't. Oh, but I could. Could I?
Yeah.
Fucking Cherry.
Right? Ladies, we may have to finish book 2 on our next episode. Unless we can get through the rest.
We're almost done.
We're almost done. We can do this.
We're almost done. We can do it.
It's 58. Okay. They go back. Because there's no more sex. They go back. It's the next night. They go to Hook's to find his shadow, but Hook has a shadow. Mm-hmm. So then Hook is like, "Where's my sister?" And he says, and Peter Pan says, "In a box in the ocean." And Hook attacks him, and this is where we find out what a pussy he is, because he's got a clock, a ticker tock in his thing. He's tick tick tick. He's like, "Oh my God, it's the clock. He's back." He goes this way, and Peter Pan gets a shadow. He goes back, but here is the big kicker and how the book ends, everybody, and why we say fucking Cherry. Because Vane takes Winnie back to the house. They fight pirates, and then Cherry walks up to her because Vane goes that way, and he tells Cherry to go that way. And as Cherry is going home or going down to Peter Pan's lair, Cherry comes up and says, "Oh, there's a parakeet in my room and I need you to help me." And she goes, "It could be a pirate. We should." And she goes, "No, it's a parakeet. Just come help me." And they go down there and she opens up the door and pushes her in and closes the door. Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry.
Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Cherry. Fucking Now we don't know what happens
Right.
after that. She comes out perfectly fine, and you'll find out the rest in book 3 next week.
All right. So that is it for us.
You.
Sorry. Operator error. All right. So next week we will be back with book 3, which is the Darling one. The Darling one? Darling?
The Darling?
The
It is.
The Darling.
Let's find out. It is
Darling something.
Their Vicious Darling.
Yes, Their Vicious Darling.
Their Vicious
I
Darling.
knew it was Darling something because
Yes, Darling Vicious Darling. Yep.
She
That's right.
has the Dark Shadow, the Neverland Dark Shadow. So,
But we don't know that. We just know she got pushed into the room with the Dark Shadow. We don't know she got the Dark Shadow until the next one. Shh. Don't be giving secrets away.
in the end of the book, it says her eyes are black.
It sure does.
The last line of the book, she turns around and her eyes are black.
That doesn't mean she got the Dark Shadow. That just means her eyes are black.
Oh, I
I guess we will find out more next week.
Good night, guys.
Same bat channel, same bat time. Join us tomorrow. Well, not us, but Miss Kitty over here and Jags and Mojo for Chronic Sports. And then on Thursday, we are doing Buzzkill. Not we, they are doing Buzzkill with Smew and Easy E.
It's going to be a great time. Same bat channel, same bat place.
Same bat channel, same bat place.
All right. Have a good night.
It's easy.